time to think of the second ban, as the next pick will be going over to the side of Infamous. For the second ban, they can really just ban out maybe that Fox. If not, then, I mean, Glaive has been banned out by Infamous themselves. If not, then just ban out a mage that they did not want to meet when going up against Infamous. I mean, at this point in time, Chingy has been rather flexible all in all with his play, but he usually would settle for weapon carries and not, say, crystal carries at all. I don't remember seeing a match that he played a CP carry. So having a Cruel being banned out, okay. This is a rather interesting draft coming out from the side of Infamous.
Yeah, and the Finn pickup, I don't know, the side of Nebulae, how you integrate Finn into a team, because definitely the previous draft where we saw the Finn Black Feather Taka comp, not the most common to run alongside of Finn, but Idris we've seen before a lot of times go alongside this Finn.
Yep, Idris, I mean, all in all, Finn in itself, it's a rather situational pickup, I must say. It is not, it shouldn't be prioritized at all, because there are other better captains out there, or rather, when I say better, I mean more mobile as compared to Finn. We have Catherine on the fold, we have Arden as well, but coming up from the side of Nebulae, we will be seeing a Baptiste. Baptiste going up against a Finn, I'm not sure what to think of that all in all, but I must say, Nebulae's draft, this game, look rather good. If you'd ask me, I think their draft looks very, very good. In fact, you have Baptiste that can put down the Ordain onto Celeste, have Vox just put out so much damage, and you have Grace as well to be able to go into the backlines, take out Celeste, if not then take out Idris, and the Divine Intervention, that is something that Grace can do at level 6, and after she picks up an Echo, she can just change fights and turn the tides of battles. So it is down to how Nebulae will play around the Divine Intervention, and of course, the Baptiste and the Fear and Ordain as well. So looking very ripe and nice for the side of Nebulae. As for the side of Infamous, it is just down to how, I mean, really, if you think about it, for the side of Infamous, they can't really just pull out any comp they want, but whether or not they can just push their early game advantage against the Baptiste with a Celeste, and of course, that of Idris as well, because there has been a lot of emphasis, and I've said it time and time again, Idris just farms so poorly in the early game. Celeste needs time to rev up as compared to Baptiste as well. So I'm on the side of Nebulae at this point in time. I like Nebulae's draft. What about you, I request a duel?
Well, I do think that it is interesting to see Idris. Of course, it's a good frontline hero with a good backline hero, but in the case of farming that you talked about, which is so important in trying to get Celeste towards that late game, although in this case it will be a weapon power Idris, so I think less reliant on getting so many items before they can start being effective. I do think weapon power has a bit of an easier early game as opposed to that CP. And in that case, they might be able to pull through on the back of that. And they might even still decide to give over some of this farm to really help Celeste get ahead in the early game and just ride off the backs of that.
Yep, definitely. I must agree with you. But all in all, if you were to ask me, the side of Nebulae can definitely go on as the aggressors in this game as compared to, say, Infamous. Like I said, for a Finn in the early game, you generally would try to just hold back, stay back, and not put as much, pressure, because you do not have your hook, you don't have your stun on your Quibble as well. As we do see, though, Nebulae is still very hesitant into going in, although they have a Grace.
Ooh, Dalfa getting caught out in that call. Absolutely. Pull them in, and they're going to be able to put down a fair bit of pressure. So even if Nebulae would be looking the ones to play aggressively, I think Infamous just too confident in playing that playstyle themselves already. You can see them as they roam up to lane. SNK just going right up to Truffy's face, even though he's taking a fair bit of damage for it, not afraid to do so.
Oh, Chingy getting caught out by Doubtfire and that of Iron View Die, but
does get caught out. However, the Treants did manage to lock down Doubtfire and Angry Udai. Chingy trying to get the kill onto Doubtfire here, but Angry Udai was able to steal away that Treant, and now it's going to be up to SNK to try keep him there, allow Chingy to pick up a kill. looks like it might be the case because Doubtfire are fairly low, not in a position to really save them unless they want to give away their own life. Chingy has the Core Collapse available once again, using it, able to pick up that kill. The first blood going over to them, and Doubtfire, if they get caught out by one more auto attack, will go down. But Chingy instead turning their attention to this tree ant, but it might be dealing a fair bit too much damage to do on their own. Yes, they do need SNK there to tank it up for them, rather than making a silly mistake at the start of the game. And they're going to be able to take it anyway without any contest. And now just focusing on their own farm and looking up at lane. We've got, both laners just going back at for their first backs. And if we look over to Spaghetti, generally going for the usual build there, starting to build towards that early Sorrow Blade, and Truffy's more than likely might go for... We could see a breaking point on Truffy's. We've seen a breaking point on boxes before early on, and it might be Truffy's that did so earlier today.
Yep, I mean, Truffy's can go for the breaking point. I mean, we are seeing him he is picking up, or rather he has 2 damage attack speed item with double swifty, but I have to hold my thought.
Oh yes, as we see the response to Nebulae's aggression there, and they're going to be able to get out, but SNK is so very low, able to get out alive and not give over a kill. Meanwhile, Spaghetti getting caught up in the 1v3 situation is going to be able to dash out of that one, but still gets knocked up from the Holy Nova. Luckily finds the safety of his turret for now, and is just using these chakrams and his own basic attacks to really clear through the farm at the moment, keeping a good amount of CS and keeping up ahead of Truffy's at this point, as he's going to be able to clear out this wave, seeing at 38 CS over to the 35 of Truffy's, and now have to claim that up to 41. So Spaghetti doing a bad job in this early game up lane, and we see Truffy's actually picking up that poison ship first, so not a bad pick up at all to keep them, help them be sustained as well, and help remove any of the healing away from the enemy team. But we'll have to see about that, as SNK now making his way up, just holding lane as Spaghetti is going to go to shop, and let's see what they pick up is going to be that Sorrow Blade that was expected as their first item.
Yep, and I'm really liking of how Nebulae is actually trying to put pressure into lane, only because of how Spaghetti is so weak in the early game in terms of farming.
But it looks like trying to get the most out of it, and they almost got Spaghetti as well, but he's going to make it back to his turret, and SNK at the moment just soaking up a lot of damage. Chingy not yet with that level 6, he'll be up in a matter of seconds however, so they don't have the Solar Storm just yet, but Spaghetti doing an alright job at managing to keep the enemy off of that initial turret.
Yep, Chingy's positioning pre-level 8 really has to keep that on watch, because what happened then really was Chingy came in from the back lines, but easily allowed Doubtfire to go through. Although SNK wasn't there, it was a 1v3, or rather it was a 2v3 throughout that fight. Spaghetti going in, Holy Nova misses.
Yep, and we see that Infamous now going to go in and try and go off the back of that one, but they realize that it might not be the best idea right then and there. But Spaghetti gets caught out in the Ordained, and he's going to be followed up with the Holy Nova. Good chain of CC, and there's going to be the Solar Storm coming through onto Doubtfire, making them have to back out of the fight. I think Truffy's might have even taken a bit of damage from that. Doubtfire not yet with the Divine Intervention up, can't heal Truffy's back up at this point, so Infamous going to try push onto this initial turret, but there's going to be the Fearsome Shade to push them back. Core Collapse lands onto Iron, you die, and they're going to continue pushing onto this turret, and Doubtfire making their way back in. You could see before the synergy on the side of Nebulae a lot better with what they have here, but Ordained and the Holy Nova, great combo. You either have to stay inside the Ordained to not get stunned out, but then Grace will be able to jump in there with the Holy Nova and knock you up. Otherwise, you're just going to get stunned out by both of them. So it's kind of a win-loss? No, just loss-loss for the side of Infamous when they get caught out in those situations.
Yeah, but I really want to see if the side of Nebulae can just continue to push and put pressure in this early game, only because now Chingy is at level 7. Spaghetti has got a Sorrow Blade now, and by the time Chingy gets to level 8, that is the greatest power spike for Celeste. And on top of that, it will be very difficult for Batiste to actually reach Celeste when Celeste gets, that level 8 and just be able to just drop Helios, left, right, and center, and there will be no way for Iron Gyudai to even get close. However, this first turret will definitely fall very, very soon.
Yep, and it looks like it will go down very about fight, but Spaghetti just going to be able to jump past Grace there with the Shroud Step. And it's now, he's going off weapon power to actually use a blink in that case, so very hard to stop him from doing so. Shroud Step in there, and then uses the Chakram to take it down. And now we see a Shattered Glass being picked up onto Iron Gyudai, the first tier 3 item, so slightly behind of Chingy. Of course, Chingy going for the cheaper option of getting the Frostburn first, and what will be the follow-up item after they clear these minions here of the Eve of Harvest. So Chingy, a whole item ahead at this point. It's pretty good to see for the side of Infamous, as they've only got a 2k gold lead at 8 minutes in, although it just shows how much that really matters to them and how much it makes a difference in the builds.
Yep, all in all, Infamous still looking very strong, but Nebulae is definitely not out of the picture just yet. Iron Gyudai getting caught up by SNK.
Yep, and it looks like Solar Storm gonna come through. They're gonna race Batiste, and now Truffy's left on his own to defend his turret, but this is Infamous pushing it. They're just going straight for the objective, and Truffy's your second thought. You should have ran. You lost your opportunity. You're gonna get caught out with the core collapse into the Quibble. That's going to be able to pick up that kill and return back to base alongside SNK, but maybe they're getting ready to fire again. There's a polite company to keep Spaghetti alive, but he gets knocked up with a Holy Nova, had to stand still not to get caught out by the Ordained. Moves around to the backline, and there's going to be the Fountain used for the side of Nebulae, but it's not going to save Iron Gyudai's life, and Doubtfire now left on their own to defend this one. Truffy's making the return to the turret, however, and Infamous pushing through the enemy base after taking 2 turrets. They're going to take the first Crystal Sentry of the game.
Oh wow, what a fight coming up from Infamous there. I had thought the return of Iron Gyudai and Doubtfire could have just changed that around, because Spaghetti and Chi were awfully low and Iron Gyudai and Doubtfire were full health, but they just couldn't do anything whatsoever when it came back, and in the end Iron Gyudai got caught out. I mean, it was a very good Holy Nova coming out from Doubtfire on that Grace, but all in all, it just did not do enough for the side of Nebulae. But like I said, I do not discount Nebulae whatsoever out of this team fight. Infamous still has got, the side of Nebulae still has got a chance, and we saw this coming up from Brand Esports as well, right? When Brand Esports were up against J-Trex Inferno had a 9k gold lead, and in the end Brand Esports could come back from it. So I'm expecting maybe something along those lines between Nebulae and Infamous, but Infamous just looking so strong right now. It even is an offense for me to say that, but all in all, I still have faith, right? Always believe, keep believing.
Yes, keep believing indeed, and that's what Nebulae have to try and hope for. I mean, ahead 0.9k over to the 20.1k gold, so it's not impossible, and they're going to prove just that as they manage to catch out Spaghetti, and they're going to follow through onto SNK, doing a lot of damage there. The breaking point stack stacking up for Truffy's, now sitting at 7. Divine Intervention used onto Iron Gyudai. Nebulae trying to look for something, trying to get a comeback here. They haven't got any damage onto this turret just yet, but they're going to go for kills instead. Jumping onto SNK, not sure if that's the right target, especially if you're trying to land the Holy Nova. And they're going to be forced back, maybe not making the best of the opportunity of taking Spaghetti out, because Spaghetti is going to return with a vengeance on the team of Nebulae, who are already low health and low energy, having to back to base. Iron Gyudai, however, going through his jungle, making sure he gets that cleared, as he is sitting at 34 farm over to Chingy's 68 farm. That is quite the difference there, and I think if anything, Iron Gyudai is just going to have to be relied on for using those Ordains in the fight most of the time, as he's fallen behind a bit on the damage side of things.
Yep, definitely. I mean, for a Batiste, your build is generally very, very cheap. You just want your Shatter Glass, you want your Clockwork, and bam, you can just put out so much damage when you're empowered. And then you build some little defenses, and then you go for your Broken Myth afterwards. That way, your parties have got a lot of damage. But in this case, it's just so difficult to just go up against Chingy with 3 or rather 2 full items. So.
And it looks like they're going to go in. They managed to pick up the great follow. The Shimmer Strike is going to make it. Spaghetti cleaning up here, but you need to be careful. Truffy's building up those breaking point stacks, sitting at 9, but he's going to get caught out by the... Oh no, he manages to block the core collapse, and he's going to be able to take some
triple kill.
Doing his best to go back. The Quibble is going to secure the ace. Oh my, Truffy's doing an amazing job on this box for the position that the Nebulae team are in right now, and they're going to lose a turret to Infamous, the anchor turret to be precise, so it's looking dire already for the side of Nebulae, but they have an opportunity to come back, especially with Chingy with no defense here. Just sitting on that O-Cart is really squishy, and you could see there Chingy thought they could take a fight with Truffy's at first, had to back off, and now Spaghetti going to use their Shroud Step to get out of that one. They do get stunned up, but they got out of the clutches of Nebulae for now.
Yep, all in all, Nebulae could have picked... I mean, maybe what they should do, or the side of Nebulae should do, is just went for the tried and used and proven team comp they like to run, and that is to protect the carry comp, right? Usually when you see and when you watch Nebulae's game, what you see more often than not would be Iron View die on a lance or something, and then you have Delphire just protecting Truffy's with their dear life. And we saw just Truffy's positioning and how he was playing. He could have almost got a triple kill for the team, but he just got caught up by SNK and that little Quibble that he, that little troll can put out. But all in all, if they actually just went and decided to go protect Truffy's with our dear life, maybe it'll work something out. It might just work something out, because that is something that you've been saying as well, that maybe Iron Guitar should not go for damage, instead just work on the Ordain and those Fearsome Shade.
Yep, and we now see the... Ooh. Just yet. And Nebulae might be looking for a fight. They used for Ordain. They managed to get the block out of Chingy. So this could be the chance to go in with the Holy Nova, but Nebulae not sure to follow up if they have the damages. Dalfa is actually the one getting pinned down. Great use of the Fearsome Shade to catch out Chingy, and then followed up with the Ordain. But there's going to be Spaghetti on the backline. Divine Intervention keeping Iron View alive though, and Truffy's doing what they can to build up these stacks, but they need to be careful to dodge out all the damage coming out from the side of Infamous. Spaghetti chasing down Angry Die, manages to pick up the kill, and Truffy's going to go down to Chingy. There's the ace coming through for Infamous. They're staying strong and pushing through with these aced up minions right into the enemy base.
That is a lot. That is such huge wave for the side of Infamous. They can easily just close this game out. I hate to call GG, but the amount of damage coming out from both Spaghetti and Chingy is just immense. Just look at how fast they are taking the turret, and this just might be GG going over to the side of Infamous.
Oh, well, though Spaghetti, knowing he can take the second to take him down. Meanwhile, even though Chingy had fallen to the hands of Truffy's, it didn't matter in the end, as Infamous able to take the finals of Week 3, Split 1. I got it right that time, 2-0.
You definitely did. Big congratulations to Infamous taking first spot and Nebulae second spot, and of course you have Brand Esports, the one of the up-and-coming teams to watch out for, clinching the third place spot for this week, for the final week of Split 1.
Yep, and with that,